And of course, you get to be part of that amazing event coming off for 3 days. All right, Gold Coast and I think a couple of other places as well. So just go online and do the registration and be part of it. All right, thanks to the soul for joining us. And as I said, there's going to be another soul joining us later on in the show. But for now, it's time to get educated in the world of technology. And today, once again, I've been joined by data analyst, and of course, he is a head of curriculum at IIPGH. I'm talking about the man Emmanuel Gadasu. Anything data, he's a guru. Boss, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
Been a while.
Sure.
All right, so today we're talking about data protection. So we've talked about data science once upon a time. So yes. Obviously you have an idea what data is all about. So what is data protection?
Well, I think the last time we talked about data being the current gold.
Yes.
And, gold must be protected.
Exactly.
Yes, and in this regard, when we say data protection, we are talking about the safeguards put in place to ensure that people's data is protected.
Okay.
It also goes further to ensure that, well, you as Diego, every information about you, you decide who should have access to it.
And who shouldn't.
And who shouldn't.
Okay.
For how long the person is going to retain that data, and for what reason.
Just so like reputation, building a reputation, it's not easy to build that. So
yes.
When you get it there, you need to
protect it. Definitely.
All right.
Yes.
So what are some of the key few terms we need to know about data protection?
Yes. In terms of data protection, first of all, we talk about the data subject.
Okay.
The data subject refers to any living individual about whom you take information.
Okay, so the subject is the individual, the person.
Okay. The person, yes, about whom. But it should be a living individual.
A living individual. It can't be dead.
Yeah, it can't be dead, definitely, yes. So any living individual about whom you take information is referred to as the data subject. Okay. Then we also have what we refer to as the data controller. So, for example, who determines what kind of information can be taken about whom?
Okay.
So any organization or an individual who determines the data that should be collected about an individual is termed as the data controller. Okay. Then we also have what we refer to as the data processor. This is someone or an organization that is in charge of processing the data on behalf of a data controller. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Could you take that part again?
All right. So the data processor is either an individual or an organization that has been mandated by the data controller to process data on their behalf.
Okay, so all these three types that you just mentioned come in different forms altogether.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So what is then personal data?
Yes, personal data refers to any data that can uniquely identify a living individual.
Okay, so how is it done? Take us through the process. How do you identify it?
Okay. So if I have a phone number, can that phone number lead me to a specific individual uniquely? Okay. Okay. If I get your bank account number, or I just see a piece of paper, have a bank account number or details on it, can it lead me to identify an individual? I see a piece of information anywhere, provided it can lead me to identify an individual, that information is personal data.
Okay, so you already cited an example. Could you give us a few more examples of personal data?
Yes, for example, your date of birth, your next of kin, and especially when you go online to your IP address.
So I'm sure when you're even filling some forms, they ask personal data.
Yes.
So those things you enumerate over there, your sex, your name, your date of birth.
Exactly.
All those
these things are your personal data.
Okay, so these are some examples. So are there certain types of personal data that is prohibited for processing?
Yes, exactly. There are quite some few of them. For example, your ethnic background. Okay. Your religious affiliation.
But sometimes they ask that thing.
Yes. Yes. So they are prohibited. But you see, it is the lack of education that allows quite a lot of organizations to be taking just too many information about us. Okay. Yes.
Okay, but even at times on our CV, we write our nationality and all that.
Yes. You know, some of these things are not warranted. They are not needed for the job. But we tend to be doing this. It has become the order of the day. You have to state all this kind of. But it is not needed. Your religion is not needed on your CV for any purpose. No.
Why do you think it's not needed? I'm just wondering.
Yes, because these are your personal data, and in relation to, whatever job you are going to do, it has nothing to do with your religion.
Sometimes when they see those things there, they consider certain things.
Yes, so you can...
for instance, I'm in Ghana, and I'm a Liberian or something, and my nationality is spelled out there as a Liberian. that could probably be that maybe the CEO I'm going to see or the human resource manager I'm going to see happens to be a librarian also. That could be an advantage for me, don't you think?
Well, that is bias, but at the end of the day, you know, yes, but it is unacceptable.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it is not the right thing to do.
Okay, so you asked me to show some few examples that I want us to touch briefly, and then we'll see what exactly they are. Okay, so let me find out where they are, and then we'll move on real quickly with the discussion. So, okay, here they are. All right, so if you can see on the screen, I hope it's a bit clear. Okay, so this is British Airways faces record 183 million pounds fine for data breach. And then it says on July 8, 2019, the ICO in the UK fined British Airways a record fine of 183 million pounds fine for data breach. What was their offense? Use of poor security arrangements that resulted in 2018 web skimming attack affecting 500,000 consumers.
Exactly. Yes.
What is it? What are we talking about here?
Yes, data breach.
Okay.
That is anything that results in the unauthorized disclosure of personal data. Okay. Erasure, deletion, or alteration. Okay. All right. So you could see in this scenario, this is just this year we are talking about, a few months back. July 8th. Yes. And ICO is the Information Commissioner Office. Okay. In the UK, and they are responsible for data protection in the UK.
And this affected over 500,000 consumers.
500,000 consumers. So the fine is almost, comparable to the number of people that this thing affects and the effect.
183 million pounds.
Yes, that is a huge amount of money. 183 million pounds.
Just because they breach data.
Then the issue is poor security arrangement. So they tried to do something, but it was poor. Okay. In the perspective of the ICO, and they were fined that huge amount of money.
Wow, interesting. Okay, there's another one. It says La Liga facing this in the world of football. Exactly. La Liga facing 250k euros fine for GDPR violation in app used by spy on users. So, I mean, usually this thing happens. They send some spy to go and monitor some team, and then they come and tell us. So the story says in June, La Liga was fined 250,000 euros by the Spanish data protection authorities. What was their offense? Poorly disclosing purpose for requesting GPS and microphone permissions within the Football League's mobile app. When the app was open, it was transmitted the user's location if it's detected an acoustic fingerprint embedded within a game telecast. This was used to help pinpoint the location of venues that may be screening the games from unauthorized feeds. Okay, so somebody was taking the feed.
No, not that somebody. In the app, they had a mobile app, and in the app, they put behind mechanisms that could detect, when people are shouting and those kind of things, they detect that, no. So the moment this kind of shouts is being detected by the app, it automatically triggers something sending back to La Liga so that they could know that, no, this bar, this restaurant, or this
place, showing this without authority, without right, or they have right to show.
And the Spanish authorities are no, this is illegal. You can't, let mobile data, apps be transmitting people's location without their consent. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So they were wrong by putting that app.
Yes.
That mechanism in the app. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So what it also means is that anytime you want to take data from people, you need to seek their explicit consent. Okay. The person must be aware. Okay, this is the kind of information you are going to collect about me, and this is the reason. Okay. And also for how long you are going to keep that data. You can't take personal data about me and keep it forever. No. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's take on the last one. Yes. The ICO. So is it
Marriott International? Okay.
Marriott International incorporated more than 99 million euros under GDPR for data breach. And then it says on July 9, 2019, this is also very latest. Marriott International was fined 99 million euros by the ICO. What was the offense? Failure to undertake sufficient due diligence when acquiring Starwood Hotels Group, whose systems were compromised in 2014, exposing approximately 339 million guest records. Wow. So you took over their job or their company in 2014, and this was the issue that had happened. Yes. Down the line, 4 years down, or let's say 4 years, 5 years down the line, you still couldn't correct that thing. Now you are being fined for it.
Yes. So what it means is that organizations are also liable for whatever action they take. So this is Marriott International acquiring Starwoods back in 2014. And apparently Starwoods system was compromised.
Yes, back then in 2014.
And the ICO is saying you didn't do due diligence. Yes.
True.
So organizations are not left out. Organizations of any kind, be it a school, a church, any organization at all, you can be held liable for any breach of what your consumers or people's data.
Okay, so how should organizations, since we're talking about organizations, how should organizations process data?
Yes. First of all, it must be fair and legal. So anytime you are
Fair
going
and
to,
legal?
yes. Legal means that within the context of which or your operations, it should be sanctioned.
Okay.
So you can't take any form of data at all, depending on your operations.
Okay.
For example, I am not permitted to, no matter what organization I work in, aside the health sector, to be demanding health records, blood type, and other things from people. Okay. That will not be legal. Okay. So it should be legal in the context of my operation, and it should be fair. Then the organization should take appropriate measures to safeguard this data that they are collecting. Okay. They should protect it, give it the maximum protection. And in the event that something happens, they should alert the people. The people should be notified, and the authorities. And in Ghana, when you talk about the authority, the mandated authority in Ghana here, that is the DPC, the Data Protection Commission. So the organization should take the step to notify them of any breach. Hey, this is what has happened to us, so that they are aware and the necessary steps are being taken.
So usually when you're applying for a job, for instance, your data information and all this are taken, how long should a company keep a person's or somebody's personal data?
As long as it is valid for the purpose for which it was taken.
Explain that.
All right, let me give you two scenarios. Okay. You know, there are so many places that they use CCTVs. Okay, in the bar, in the restaurant, they use CCTV. All right. Then also, you know, the banks, most of their ATMs, they have CCTV speaking data. Okay. So now, if something happens in the bar, it will be easy to detect. Maybe in the first, you know, some few hours or days, we can know what went wrong. So we can go back, play that CCTV records to identify that. However, in the banking sector or for ATMs, it will take a long time for you to detect that maybe some transaction has gone on fraudulently. So in terms of these two, using the same CCTV scenario, the bar or restaurant, the duration to retain this there should be shorter. Because they can detect the purpose for which they took this coverage or these CCTV images is shorter. Within some few days, you can know that something went wrong, we can trace it. Unlike in the banking sector where it will take a longer time. So in these scenarios, both the retention will not be the same. And most especially too, when there's any legal issue surrounding the data, that one, it should be kept as long as the legal matters remains in the law courts.
How do you make it legal? How do you... So, for instance, something just came to my head. I've worked with a radio station before. Usually, they would like to record certain guests. Put them together. Because maybe later on, some years down the line, they want to refer you to what it said and all those kind of things. How long are we keeping this one?
Yes, some records are exempted from this kind of data protection laws. For example, things for historical purposes, journalism, medical, national security, they are exempted from this data.
So that is allowed to keep it
as long as it is for archival purposes.
So what are some of the ramifications of failure to comply with notice from DPC?
Yes, if you detect anything wrong with your data or a company is holding illegal data about you or whatsoever, the first attempt is to report it to the Data Protection Commission. And what they will do is that they will investigate, and if the said organization contravenes what the Data Protection Act, they will take steps to notify that organization to apply the appropriate remedies. Failure to do so, the DPC is mandated to charge them. And anybody or a company can be charged up to a maximum of, I think, 150 penalty units or imprisonment of not less than 1 year or both. So that's how serious it is in Ghana.
But has there been any cases like that here in Ghana?
Yes. Right now, you know, this the Data Protection Act came into effect in 2012, which is quite young. But so many things have been going on, and there are so many issues that is being under investigation. I think you remember the famous EC sold data to one organization. It's still the commission is being fantastic, and they are still investigating this. You know, it takes time to investigate these issues, and once it is established, I'm sure they will apply the appropriate sanctions.
So we're summing up, but how does one person, an individual, a company, organization secure themselves of their personal data?
It is very interesting. How people, you know, post things on social media. So the first thing is limit the amount of personal data you post on social media.
How personal is personal?
Yes. Editing, well, we have defined what personal data, editing that can identify you uniquely. So all your pictures, every function you go, you are putting it there. Yes, it is. Or, you know, you'll be trending. But on the other side, too, you are exposing yourself to the general public. And anybody can use those information in a negative way that will affect you. So one, limit the amount of personal data you put on social media platforms. Then secondly, update your devices regularly.
By updating, you mean the apps?
Yes, the apps, your phone, and other update them so that they can have the latest security patches from the, you know, the manufacturers of this. Then also, free Wi-Fi. You know, people enjoy too
Everybody
many
loves free things.
Yes, yes. You know, so free Wi-Fi at hotels, public places, as much as possible, try to avoid them. And don't do any banking or financial transactions on free public Wi-Fi. It is not advisable. Yes. Then also take, you know, downloading things and clicking links in emails. Very soon, I think it has even started. You know, you'll be receiving a lot of information from WhatsApp that this promo here and there and all those kind of. By the time
the latest one is the Canada visa and stuff like that.
Yes, these things are not true. So the moment you click on these things, you are affected. Then also enable remote wiping of your device. By this, what we mean is that, you know, your device, they can get missing anytime. And people, once they have access to it, they have access to your personal information on this. But if you enable remote wiping, what it means is that if it is missing, you can give instruction and this device will be reset to a factory setting and everything will be destroyed on it.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Gadasu. He happens to be a data analyst, and of course, he is the head of curriculum at IIPGH, that's Institute of ICT Professional Ghana. Join us to talk about data protection today. And at anything when it comes to data, he's a guru in that. He will give you all the details that you need. And I appreciate your education on this data protection. Very, very key in our lives. So, God willing, next week there will be another episode of talking about Tech Talk. But of course, if you want to have access to all the videos we've ever done here on Tech Talk, move to the YouTube page